So hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and what we have here is the all new 2023 Honda BRV. So this particular unit beside me is the V variant, the S variant, and the one I'll be driving is the Big Daddy VX variant. So I'd like to thank Miss Cisa Reyes and Honda Cars Manila Bay for making this review possible. So I decided last minute to cover all of the units since they're all present in this dealership. So yet again, I'll be driving the VX variant, and there's actually just few changes from this V variant and the VX. So we'll get to that later on. And I also wanted to shoot in the dealership because I wanted aircon. It's kind of hot outside today. So I prefer this look of the new BRV way better than the previous generation. To be honest, I didn't like the bulbous and angular look of the previous gen BRV. And as well, I have not driven yet the old BRV. But stay tuned, I might have a chance to drive one soon. So with this look alone, it looks much more in design now with all of the Honda cars at the moment. And this fascia alone, I gotta say, it looks much more macho than the previous gen, as I said. And unlike the previous generation on the side profile, there's like a lot of character lines here. I mean, this one, I think that swoops all the way down. I'll get to know soon. But at least for this all-new BRV, there is one continuous character line here that stretches from the headlight all the way to the taillight. So here at the front of the BRV, I don't mind the chrome of this. It is not too bad. Previous generation BRV's chrome grille was all over the place, to be honest. And this is where it differs with the VX van. That S and this V van has a matte black grille, and the VX has a gloss black grille. And for some reason, in the early reviews, walk around reviews of the BRV, the V has somewhat body colored skid plates, and the VX, what I'll be driving, has a total silver skid plate. And again, the S has a matte black skid plate. I mean, all around the S has matte black, and then this one is much like a darker shade of gray. Not much changes actually to the exterior. I thought the S will have 16-inch wheels, but for some reason this has a 17-inch aluminum wheels, which is the same design throughout the S up to the VX. Just found out right now, you only can get 16-inch steel wheels for the manual trim of the S variant. That's probably be my pick, but let's see how the VX will perform later on. That's probably the two choices I will have for the BRV, the S manual and the VX top of the line variant. And as well, differences from the exterior. If you go to this side, for the S and V, it doesn't have a corner camera right here on the side mirror. The VX has a corner camera. And sadly, that's the only variant of the BRV that has Honda sensing. And we'll get more later on with the Honda sensing because there's a lot to talk about with that. So here with the basics, there's no Honda sensing whatsoever for the S and V variants, as I said. So as well, ground clearance is 207 millimeters for all the variants, which is plus 6 millimeters more than the previous generation. And as well, you have LED lights all around. Let me show you. That is also the same for the S van, which is cool. And I like there's a nice chime when you leave the lights on when the engine is off. And for the V and VX variant, you get chrome door handles. For the S, it is body colored. I do prefer a little bit with the body color, but the chrome of this, as I said earlier, it is not too bad at all. So actually, there's different weights as well for each variant. This one weighs 1,290 kilograms, and of course, the Big Daddy with all of the features weighs in at 1,300 kilograms. And further down the line, the S variant weighs in at 1,260 kilograms. Probably the manual will be 5 to 10 kilograms lighter than the CVT variant. So here now at the rear of the all-new BRV V variant, this one has a V badge here. The VX gets VX, and the S doesn't have badges whatsoever. So that's what you can differentiate between all the variants. And being the V variant, this has skid plates. Again, like I said, at front, a darker shade of gray. The S has matte black skid plates, and the VX has silver skid plates. And you have LED taillights here all around. That's what I like as well with this BRV. And as well for the base model, everything's now LED, and throughout the lineup as well, despite the V and S not having Honda sensing whatsoever, you still have reverse cameras at least. So open this boot up. It's not electronic tailgate, but I don't mind it because none of the competition has it anyways. So with all of the seats up, you have 244 liters, which is probably the biggest one in its class in terms of having all of the seats up. And as well, the only one in its class, again, that has an adjustable rear floor. So See, simple as that. Actually, there is some use to it if you fold down the third row. So with the third row down now, you have a total of 530 liters. And this is where the adjustable floor comes in. There. Na heart, right? Bear with me. So that's the advantage now with this adjustable floor. There is no more ridge. And at least you can still fit some stuff underneath the adjustable floor. And with all of the seats down now, you have a total of 1,032 liters. And as well the second row tumbles, which will be very, very handy for people getting in the third row. I'll demo that in a bit. So that's about it with the exterior and boot of the all-new BRV. I'll show you the interior. So this is the interior of the all-new BRV. Alright, sounds like every other Japanese MPV in its class. So this is more like it. I've sat in the old BRV and this V variant alone, let's not forget, looks much better than that of the previous gen. To be honest, the old BRV felt a little bit cheap. And yeah, everything in here with the V and VX variant is exactly the same. You get leather seats here. And for the S variant, you get fabric seats. And unlike in this V variant, the S doesn't have leather here on the door card whatsoever. It's all plastic. Usually, I tend to pick fabric seats over hard, durable leather seats of Japanese brands, not just Honda. But for once, this leather of the V and the VX variant, they feel really soft and feels much more pleasant. And there's excellent lumbar support. So I feel so relaxed sitting in here alone, and I have not even driven the new BRV yet. So same layout with the S, V, and VX. Here on the door card, you have your window switches here and your side mirror adjustments. And on the left side here of the dashboard, you have an air conditioning vent. And then below, you have 3 blank buttons and your electronic stability control button. So I assume the VX has more buttons, so just put it here now. I only had little time shooting the VX because it was being used right now. So here in the steering wheel, unlike the S brand that has urethane steering wheel, this one's again leather but more on the durable side again, but it's still nice to the touch. And being the V variant, as you can see the right side of the steering wheel, it is completely blank. Your only functioning buttons here, like the S variant as well, are for your volume adjustments and for your phone connectivity buttons for the infotainment system. Because on the VX variant, on the right side, that's where your cruise control buttons are. And with the Honda sensing for the VX variant, you have adaptive cruise control function. That's the only one in its class that has that. And yet again, most of the competition only have cruise control. So that's really nice to know. That's the first one in its class that has adaptive cruise control, the VX variant. But weirdly, for this V and the S variant, being the CVT models, they don't have cruise control. That's something I'm very weirded out. So in the middle, you have analog speedometer, analog tachometer with a colored TFT display in the middle. And then here you have a 7-inch infotainment system with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. That is the same throughout the lineup, even the S base variant. That's really cool. And like as well, for the engine start-stop button, it illuminates. Same with the S model. Okay, same with the S model, just making sure. Above here, you have your lights. There's also a funny way of opening and closing them. And then here's sun visor. You only have a mirror here, no vanity light. Then I'll extend, sadly. So this is also the difference between the VXV and the S model. The S has a cream or white ceiling. This V and the VX has a black ceiling. They still both feel nice as well. Unlike the VX variant, which has Honda sensing, this V and the S variant does not come with side curtain airbags, sadly. But at least the new BRV feels more robust than the previous generation, as I said. So continuing here below the infotainment system, you have air conditioning controls. It is the same throughout the BRV lineup. And as well, unlike the VX, this V does not come with paddle shifters. Here in the center console, in front, you have a cubby space and 2 cup holders. You even fit my water jug. And unlike the CT RS, it doesn't get in the way of the air conditioning control. So as well, back here in the door card, you have 2 cubby spaces and cup holders on each side. Even my big water jug fits. And then here, you have 2 USB ports and a 12-volt socket. And then here in the center console itself, yeah, there is no manual mode sadly with the V and S variant. So I wonder if this will be the same like in the CTRS and the CTV, because in the CTRS you can keep it quiet because of the paddle shifter manual mode, and the V kinda annoyed me because it stayed at the 6,000 RPM red line all the way because there is no manual mode. But stay tuned, I might drive again a BRV V variant coming soon, but not here at Honda Cars Manila Bay. So as well, you have a manual handbrake, and then center console box. This one is leather. It's one of the smallest in class sadly. And for the S variant, the center console box is as well fabric. And I like here in the dashboard, there's silver trim on the passenger side that is as well the same throughout the lineup, and then glove box. Alright, it's pretty decent. And I like you have BRV floor mats. The others are just plain, there's no logos on them whatsoever. So that's about here in front, and the differences in front here between all the brands. I'll show you the rear seats. So this is the second row of the Honda BRV. Alright, your usual Japanese MPV door tags, but it sounds alright as well. So somewhat same trims here on the door card, however with the absence of the silver trim around the door handle sadly. I actually like that silver trim over here, but at least you still have leather pads for your elbows, and you still have cubby spaces on cup holders on each side. My big water jug still fits, and behind each seat you have map pockets. And for the S variant, you only get one map pocket right behind the front passenger seat. And this is the thing I noticed immediately with the new BRV when I saw it back in Teams. Air conditioning vents. I mean, it's alright. You have your controls way here on the right side, but there are only 3. Most of the competition already have 4. But anyway, leather seats again for the V and VX variant. Feet room, knee room, excellent. Headroom, probably this is one of the most spacious headrooms in its class. And then if I sit in the middle, transmission tunnel is really narrow. Headroom just a little bit eaten up from here. It's like this, and then from here in the middle it's just like that. Yeah, just few differences, it's not that bad. And then sitting here in the middle with the leather seats. Okay, this is where I prefer the fabric seats of the S variant. Because of this central armrest, it is really hard. But I don't mind sitting here in the middle if ever. And the central armrest itself, there is no cup holder sadly, but at least there is. And then here in the center, you only have a 12-volt socket. So this is the other drawback with this BRV. Apart from that, there are no charging points wherever. I don't see anything here besides the 12-volt socket. And then since we're here, with the tumble seats as well, getting in the third row will be very easy. Right there. Okay, getting here is pretty easy, and then on each side you have a cubby space and a cup holder. Fits my big water jug. This is a little bit of a nitpick. On this side of the second row seats, the leather is kind of sagged or is not fitted properly, unlike the fabric which is just one straight piece. Just something I noticed only with these leather seats of the all-new BRV. Maybe it's just dedicated to this unit. So sitting here in the back, you can see me. Oh wow. Oh wow. Right, I said last time, actually a few days ago when I filmed the Hyundai Stargazer, I said that had the best feet room. This is way better. And the knee room is as well just slightly better than the Stargazer. And then my headroom. Yeah, not the best, but it's your typical MPV. But yet again, small adults and children would be perfect here in the third row. So that's about it here in the interior of the all-new Honda BRV. So this is another talking point with this all-new BRV. So powering this is a 1.5 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine that produces 120 horsepower and 145 Newton meters of torque. And unlike the previous generation BRV, that one is a single overhead cam. This one now is a dual overhead cam. So that's the same thing that happened with the previous gen Honda City, GM6, and to the GN Honda City. I also have reviews of that and more Hondas on my channel as well. So as well, this particular one, the VS and the VX are mated to CVT transmissions, and only the S has a CVT and a manual transmission variant. So that's about it as well with the engine of the all-new BRV. I'll show you a bit more now with the VX demo unit. So now here sitting in the VX variant. So actually, correction, the V variant has the silver trim here now, but for the VX there's a lot more gloss black here. And as well here now on the right side, there's for your adaptive cruise control functions and adjustments for the TFT display right there in the middle. And for the 7-inch infotainment system, it's really smooth, and there's your Honda sensing features right here as well. And then reverse camera, it's not the best, but it's your typical Honda. But again, at least there is. Actually, first impressions immediately with the interior of the VX. Yes, there's the paddle shifters. I can't wait to drive this now. And as well, look, it's only tilt. There's no telescopic feature for this new BRV sadly. So just wait for a few more papers and then let's have a drive. Right, so I'll do my best. I mean, we'll do our best here with me, along with Miss Sisa, to demo the Honda Sensing, because like I said in the showroom, this is the only one in its class that has this feature. So actually here on the left side there's still black buttons, and for your Honda Sensing button here on top of the electronic stability control. I have no idea what the rest are though. Well, to remain a mystery. And then first impressions immediately. No drive modes, just yet again here in the gear lever. Okay. Yep. I've always wanted to drive the BRV because to this day it's still one of the most powerful MPVs in its class. And I gotta say, going back to the looks, yeah, it does look like a mash now of an MPV slash crossover. But still, yet again, it's still classified as an MPV. And being, oh, the corner camera just turned on. And being a Honda. Oh, okay. Wow, that packs a punch. Of course, it won't be as punchy as the CTRS, and no, this is way more punchy than the HRVS because it is way lighter than that. Also, I have a review of that, and I'd like to apologize as well for my HRVS review because I said that had the Civic engine without the turbocharger, but it's actually just a different name with the same engine as the CT and this now. So yeah, that's the other thing I needed to clarify. And immediately I can tell on the highway, this corner camera is actually really cool. It's very similar, as I gotta say, to the Kaichan CX-70. On the highway, I was already doing 60 kilometers per hour. I mean, not the fastest one ever, but really quick, I gotta say. And the NVH here is really solid. Probably better than most of its Japanese counterparts. And my favorite, the big daddy of all, the Mitsubishi Xpander. And the comfort here, rough patches of road. The construction is still here for some reason. Okay. Oh. Okay. It's not as comfortable as I said. The most comfortable MPV now in this class is the all-new Hyundai Stargazer. But this is, I gotta say, is much more comfortable than my favorite one, the Xpander. Oh, this is great already. We're off to a good start. And right now let's put it to sport mode. Oh god, sport mode. It's already eager to move forward even faster now. And then like the rumble of this engine, it's really good. And then manual mode. Oh wow, that's so good. And like every Honda CVTs, it will mimic like it's shifting up and down. You can actually feel it. And I tried it out with the windows down. It actually, you can hear the engine doing its job as well. It's not like insulated in the cabin. So let's put it back to the end. Okay, I'm gonna try the Honda Sensing right now, and then the distance. Okay. Okay, how do you set the speed? Only the distance for now. No hands, just demonstration purposes. That's the Honda Sensing now doing its thing. Oh wow. Okay, this is the first time I've actually used adaptive cruise control. And it's actually okay, it's not correcting me in the lane properly, but it's doing its job. Okay, this is so weird. Alright. Got a taste of finally of the Honda Sensing. Okay. Let's put it all off now. Right. At least it's not as what I once thought. Like when you do adaptive cruise control, there's a lot of buttons you need to press before you activate it. Well, the speed, yes, but I got the hang of it immediately. Yeah, the lane departure is not
accurate, but it's still moving me correctly in the lane, just moving side to side. It's good. Yeah, the no hands thing was a first for me. That's so weird. And then what else? I also noticed there is no auto hold feature for this, for all the BRVs. The fuel economy, I'll just give it a little bit later since the first test drive of the day. And then off the line, okay, it's so responsive. It's kind of like what I said with most of the Honda CVTs. I'm like driving a conventional automatic transmission rather than a CVT. Yeah, sport mode just transforms this car, and the drive mode is not too bad actually. Okay, just put in drive and then shift down. That's how to engage manual mode. Sounds good as well. Sounds a little bit more or less the same like the HRVS, but this is, I gotta say, much more fun to throw around because yes, it's the lighter car, and the handling of it, okay, it's just right there smack within the Xpander. I gotta say, it is really good. Okay, let's try the Honda sensing stuff again. Turn it all on. Slowing down by itself. My god, this is new. This is so weird. Okay, that corner camera is really helpful, but gotta say, visibility, yeah, the D pillar is pretty big, but then again, I just remember this is just a small MPV, which is actually alright as well. And then brakes, okay, on par with its competition, I gotta say. And the handling of it, yeah, it's pretty light. There's no drive modes, there's no adjustments for the steering whatsoever, but pretty good as well. Okay, it's really light. It's a bit lighter than the Xpander, but it's not too like, for example, like the Rush and the Stargazer, I must say. Okay, now this is my first taste of an actual BRV. I can't wait to drive the old one, and this is, I can tell immediately comparing with the old one. And then the mid-torque punch of this is much better than the previous generation. I can tell because it's exactly the same stories with the Honda Cities, which I've driven with both engines. Yeah, this is such a good car. And as well, the price of this, miss, I don't memorize it.
1.390
and then the V
1.295,
and then the S
1.150.
Alright, the price, there's kind of gap, but there's 100,000 pesos difference between, wow, 100,000 pesos difference between the V I featured in the showroom and this VX van. But for 1.390 million pesos, I gotta say it's worth it, because again, like I said earlier, the only one in its class that has adaptive cruise control, which is actually fun to use. I got to use it for the first time. And then here at high speeds like 60-70 kilometers per hour, not much tire noise as well, despite being on Bridgestones. It's not too bad. Oh, this is amazing. I never considered a BRV, but knowing this new one just arrived, and I have driven the new Tiger Racer and the Xpander, I might consider it, yet alone for its tech and the performance. And I know I keep saying on my channel, I am not an adaptive cruise control or cruise control guy in the first place, but knowing this one is adaptive, yeah, this one's really good. Remember, I'm heavy footed and it's the first test drive of the day, and I've been flying it a lot, as you all know me. But my best now is 7.2 kilometers per liter. That's not bad for a 120 horsepower engine. And body lean, not too much actually, kind of flat as well. This is so fun. Yeah, that's why I like paddle shifters, like I said before, because you feel you're like in a Formula 1 car. So I'm very curious now with the V variant, which I won't do it here in Honda Cars Manila base, another dealership. I can't wait to drive that with the absence of paddle shifters and knowing the weight difference, if there is. So that concludes my review of the all-new Honda BRV. This is okay, a lot of MPVs now in this class, but for the performance alone, I'll take the Honda BRV against the Xpander, my favorite ever one. I gotta pick this. For the price, I know it's kind of steep already, but then again, you have all the tech you need already. This is really good. Right, so that concludes again my review of this 2023 Honda BRV. I'd like to thank Ma'am Trixie, Honda Cars Manila Bay, and Miss Cisa Reyes over here for making this test drive review possible. So, hope you guys like and subscribe, and I will see you with more future car reviews, Honda reviews, and the old Honda BRV and the BRV V variant. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.